Hey. Hello, everyone who is joining. My name is Ashley Kirkwood. I'm the founder of Speak Your Way to Cash. I'm also an IP lawyer by trade, speaker, and speaking coach by choice. And today we're going to talk about something that I don't talk that much about on the podcast, but it's something that's come up recently for me because I'm doing a lot of new things. And speaking for a lot of you may be new. Asking to get paid to speak for a lot of you may be new as well. And so I want to talk about fear, and I want to talk specifically about how fear may be showing up in your business and costing you some things. And I'm going to start off by telling you all a story about how fear has shown up in my life. Okay? So I'm going to be totally transparent and honest with you guys about something that's happened to me recently, and it taught me something new about fear and knew about how fear has been showing up for me. And I think what I suspect is that for a lot of people listening to this, a lot of people who've been following the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast through a variety of iterations and who have been rocking with me for a little bit, you've seen our business grow, you've seen our business evolve. And I don't talk too much about the internal struggles that I face as an entrepreneur, as a speaker, as a business owner. But this year, okay, let me tell you what's been going on. Let's just talk a little bit about this. And although who knows what'll happen, we'll still end up sharing some speaking tips and things like that as well. But let me tell you all what's been going on in my life. And it's almost the end of the year, so I have to talk about these things on the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. So if you're like, well, what does she have going on? What is she looking to do? What's happening for her? This is your episode. This is like an update episode for the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. So here's what's going on. This year, we are throwing our largest Speak Your Way to Cash live event ever. I've done this event 6 times. This is by far the largest event that we've ever done. It's also the event that we're investing the most in making successful. So it is going to be our most impactful event ever. Ever. It just is. We have 80 plus speakers from around the world. I guess I should say 85 plus speakers from around the world coming to learn how to land their first or their next large corporate speaking contract. Speak Your Way to Cash Live. If you've been following me, you've been listening to the podcast, you're my friend, you're my family member, you know that in 3 weeks' time, we are hosting Speak Your Way to Cash Live. Biggest event we've ever done. It is also the event that I'm doing with the smallest team I've ever had. So I have had to orchestrate a lot more than I have had to in the past. And thank God that this happened at a time when my husband is working with me full-time in the business. I would not have been able to pull it off without him. So I'm doing it at a time where me and my husband are working together full-time. Now, normally, Chris has, of course, been at every Speak Your Way to Cash Live. Chris has helped with every Speak Your Way to Cash Live. But now, Chris is running the operations behind Speak Your Way to Cash Live. He talked to the DJ this morning. He's talking like he is in go mode. We were at a concert last night with my parents, having a great time. Chris was signing contracts for the event during the concert. like he's in it. Okay. And thank God for that. For those of you who don't know, I've been trying to get Chris on the podcast for a long time. He is my husband. We've been married. It'll be 10 years in 2022. We're celebrating 10 years of marriage. We got married at 22 and 23. We've just grown so much. When I met Chris, I was not a lawyer. I was a college student. And he has supported me through every iteration of my life and vice versa. We've just done so much together. And so on the one hand, I have a smaller team. On the other hand, I have a more powerful team in that I have my husband. And that's been a blessing all on its own. But for anyone who's ever planned an event, you know, thank you. You know that it is a ton of work. And for people who've never planned an in-person event, it is a lot of work. And what comes with that, whenever you do something big, whenever you do something grander than you've ever done it before, whenever you set a goal that is bigger than you've ever set a goal to achieve before, and it looks like you're not going to hit that goal, and it looks like there are some bumps in the road, and it looks like things aren't going to work out, you may start to talk to your friends about these things. Like, oh, girl, this is what happened. We didn't get this. We didn't get that. we didn't do this, and we met this, we set this goal in the beginning of the year. By this point, we should have made X amount of dollars, or by this point, we should have sold X amount of tickets, or by this point, we should have had X amount of employees, or whatever it is, whatever your goal is. Whenever you set a goal out loud, and you declare a thing out loud, you declare your goal out loud, you declare what you're going to do out loud, and it starts to look like it won't happen. What you're going to do, this is what I did, is I went and talked to a friend about it. And it wasn't the right thing to do, but I went and talked to a friend about it. And then it was like, oh, I don't know. I don't remember the response. I don't remember the response to me not hitting the particular goal. But whatever the response was is what it was. I genuinely don't even remember what the response was. But then I went and talked to my husband. Like, I talked to my friends about it. You know, they gave me their response, whatever they gave. Then I went and talked to my husband about it. And my husband did something that was so powerful for me. He shifted my perspective about the goal. And so because we're in Q4, and because a lot of you are at the point where you're evaluating what you've accomplished over the years, you're evaluating what you've done, you're evaluating how much money you've brought into your business, you're evaluating what your opportunities will be for next time. I want you to be very careful who you talk to about your year. See, listen to me. I'm telling you, because I am someone who has a high level of confidence, but I was listening to Mike Todd this morning, and what he said is whoever has your ear has an ability to impact your faith, your belief. And that's so critically important, because if you aren't where you want to be and you start talking to somebody who does not have vision, who does not have faith, who does not believe the same things you believe, it will distort your ability to see yourself. And with the distorted view of yourself, everything you do is done from distortion. So what I would encourage anyone to do who has not reached their goals yet, who has not reached the level of success they want to achieve in the year yet, I would say first, protect who you talk to. Be very careful about who you talk to, because if the person you talk to, after talking to them about not reaching your goal or not achieving what you want to achieve, if it doesn't make you feel more encouraged, more empowered, if it doesn't give you more strategy, more insight, a perspective that will fuel your purpose and your passion versus your fear, that's not the right person to talk to. What my husband did, when I talked to him about it, I was like, man, babe, I thought we were going to be able to do this. We haven't done it yet. It hasn't happened. It has happened. He was like, well, let's look at what has happened. Because here's the thing. I really do a good job of protecting my mindset overall. But there are some times when, even though you love people and you respect them and you trust them and you value their opinion, because they don't see the entirety of your vision or your plan for your life, they will speak from their own insecurities versus speaking with the power of God. And I say God because I believe in God, right? I believe in faith. I believe in Jesus being the author and finisher of my faith. I personally believe in God. And so I say God, because for me, what I know is, even if I don't have the strength to get through something, I don't have the ability to get through something on my own because of who I believe in, which is God, right? For me, Jesus, I believe in the power of Jesus. I believe in the power of the Holy Spirit. Because I believe those things, I know that there is still a strength that I haven't tapped into yet that'll carry me on, right? But if you talk to people who don't believe in that strength, who don't believe in that power, then the only advice they can give you is from their limited strength and their limited understanding. So they can't speak life into you unless they are feeling life for themselves. It takes an unbelievably powerful person to speak life into you, even when they're going through hell, or they're going through death, or they've experienced loss. It takes a supernatural ability to speak life into other people despite how you feel. There are people that give me this compliment often. They're like, man, everything you do is an excellence. And I honor people who say that about me, because I consider it a privilege to operate at a high level. But I can only do things in excellence. I can only produce in excellence because day in and day out, I don't operate based on my feelings. I can't. What you all see, what you all experience, what my clients get is not a roller coaster. Like, it's not like one day she's really like this, but then on Tuesday she's like that, and then on Wednesday she's like that, and then on Friday she's like this, and then on Monday she's like that. No. You're going to get the same thing from me because my feelings are not my master. I'm not a slave to how I feel. So then I can operate in a level of consistency that evades most. And the reason it evades most is because you are tethered and tied to how you feel. But guess what? You're not alone. Most people are tied to how they feel. So what does that mean? That means that if you don't feel like your year has been abundant in every sense of the word, and you start talking to someone else who is tethered and tied to their feelings, they physically can't speak life into you because they have not mastered the ability to operate outside of how they feel. So everything they give you is based on how they feel. First, about themselves. Secondly, about you. It is what it is. I literally married my husband because of his character. People are like, well, were you all in love? I mean, are you attracted to him? Do you like him? Look, I'm all of that. My husband is fine. Like, that's me all day. Like, I love everything about Chris, but I made a conscious decision to marry this man because his character is so consistent. It doesn't matter if our house is on fire or we're in the penthouse of one of the best hotels in Thailand. Both experiences, well, thankfully, our house has never been on fire, thank God, right? But I mean, like, figuratively on fire. We have been through some trials that we have never even spoken about, like some gory, ugly, dirty, ooh, girl, that was you, them kind of trials. We've been through that. And who he was never changed. And it's because of what he believes. So here's the thing. Here's what I learned. Okay, so I told y'all, I talked to some friends, and the advice wasn't bad, but it was what it was, right? I didn't leave feeling like I could do anything. And here's the thing for leaders who are listening to this. This is for y'all. If you're a leader, you really you have to protect what you think and what you say more fiercely than anyone else walking the earth. Why? Because what you think and what you say doesn't just impact you. It impacts whoever is following you. And if you're head of household, if you're a husband, if you're a wife, if you're a parent, if you're a leader at a corporate office, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, you're a leader. And because you're a leader, you have to protect what you say and what you do fiercely and ferociously. It doesn't mean you throw people away. No, you can still talk to them, but like, you need to protect what you allow into your hearing and what you give them the authority to comment on. I don't know if you all know this, but people can't just, my dad used to always say this, I'm not a garbage can. You're not just going to put trash in me. like I'm not a garbage can. So like, you have to allow people to speak certain things to you. And if you don't agree with what they're saying, you need to consciously say, you know what? I respect that that's your opinion. That's not what I believe. Respectfully. That's not what I believe. And so I don't care what your year has looked like. I don't care what you've done to date. The very first thing you need to do is protect who you talk to. But then the second thing you need to do is to shift your perspective, because I'm going to tell you all something. I put out a really big goal for this year. I was like, man, I want to have a couple hundred people in the room to do this event. And we got a lot of people coming, but it's not over 200 people coming. Right? As of right now, it's not over 200 people coming. And so originally I was like, but God, I mean, I did everything. I promoted it. I made commercials. I promoted the heck out of this event. Okay. And I prayed over the event. I know this is what I'm supposed to do. It's not outside of alignment. This is exactly what I'm supposed to do. And the Holy Spirit started to deal with me. I think it was like a couple days ago. And it was like, first of all, you said you wanted 250 people at your event. Okay. As long as you're still living, you will still realize that dream. If that's so, well, I say that to say, I was thinking like, man, if it doesn't happen right now, it won't happen. I wasn't thinking what I did was I foreshadowed the future by declaring my goal. So yeah, that'll happen. Your influence and the people that you will impact and the lives that you will touch and the goals that you have set for yourself, they may or may not come to pass this year. But whether you get it this year, next year, the year after that, whether your children realize it, that goal does not die as long as you keep your vision focused. And the truth is, when you are a yielded person, when you're someone who's like, God, I want what's best for me, and I know that I can't see everything, I can only see what is before me. And so if I'm missing something, if there's a reason why we don't have X amount of people in the room this year because it's protection, if there's a reason why I didn't make X amount of dollars this year because it's protection, because there's like still something else for me to learn, I don't want to get so caught up in declaring my goals out loud and proving that something is going to happen for me that I miss the protection in not achieving. There is some level of protection in not getting certain things in a particular time frame. Okay? And I don't know what you all believe. I don't know who you all believe in, but I have seen in my life, in the moment, I can't always see why certain things are happening or why I go through certain trials and tribulations or why I achieve certain things and don't achieve other things or why I land certain contracts or I don't land others. But my job is to do what I'm supposed to do. Hard stop. I am supposed to act in excellence. I am supposed to not give in to being lazy. I am supposed to put my foot to the plow. I am supposed to operate in integrity after I do what I am supposed to do, implementing good strategies consistently over time. Over and above that, it is outside of it's above me now. You know what I mean? It's gone above me. You know what I mean? And while we can learn from data and while we can learn from our successes and from our failures, don't tweak. You know what I mean? Don't tweak. Like you could not be achieving something because there's something so much greater on the other side for you that if you were to achieve that big goal, quote unquote, big goal that you have for yourself now, you would miss something 1 million times bigger. Now, here's the hard part. And this is where people miss it when it comes to fear. Once I didn't achieve like this big goal that I had set out loud, I was like, I'm gonna do this, and it didn't happen, right? My husband first changed my perspective. He changed my perspective first. And after my husband changed my perspective, I was then open to God changing my perspective, right? Because like my husband had said it. So then when I had this feeling like, nah, it may not have been for now, but it is for you. Like when I heard that, because my perspective had been shifted and my vision had been corrected by my husband, which is why it's so important, you guys, like, I don't know if you're single, married, or dating. It is really, really, really important if you are single to choose someone not based on this superficial stuff that I see promoted all the time on the internet, but like literally you need to know the character of the person you're going to tie your life and legacy to. That's more important than like what job he has right now, because jobs change, money change. I have had the privilege of knowing millionaires that have lost it all and gained it back. And I have also seen spouses that have stayed, spouses that have left. Like I've just seen enough to know that it matters more that someone has work ethic, character, and ability and desire to want to be a life partner than like a whole lot of other stuff. But once my husband corrected my vision, then I was able to hear clearly, it may not have been for now, but it is for you. Okay, great. But it was a moment, and I don't know if any of you all have dealt with this. You can just drop me in the comments or send me an email or a back channel if you've ever dealt with this, because there was literally a moment where someone was like, so what's your goal now? What you gonna do now? And I was like, my goal now is to impact every single person that I am supposed to impact on that day. Because here's the other thing. You may have a goal, and it may be a God-given goal. It may be an amazing goal. It may be a big goal, but it takes a lot of strength to fail publicly. And if you believe that you would be better served speaking your goals only to people who have enough faith to receive them and who aren't competing with you and who aren't dealing with their own issues and who aren't dealing with their own mindset blocks and all of that, then don't tell nobody. Write it down, pray about it. And really, if you're going to write a goal down, what I have learned is that sometimes our goals are fear-driven versus faith-driven. So out of fear, I'll say, I want 200 people in the room. But see, faith may say, like, look, I want as many people in the room as you allow me to handle and send me the team to handle it. I don't know if that's 2 million. I don't know if that's 2,000. I don't know if it's 2. And those 2 are going to lead me to more than I could have imagined with the 2,000. Like, you gotta be open to co-creating your life with your creator, right? You have to be open to that. Because so often we create our goals based on what we see on Instagram, based on our limited understanding of our impact, based on fear, based on what our girlfriend said, based on how big somebody else's stuff is, based on all these other things. But if money were no object, if fear weren't something that you were taught, because literally we're taught how to fear things. If none of that was an issue, what would you really go after? What would you really go after? And there was a night when I started my business that I prayed this prayer. It was so specific. I was like, God, Lord Jesus, I want the life that you've imagined for me. I want to be so yielded and so open that literally you could be like, Ashley, go to this. And I go and do it. And then I achieve what I'm supposed to achieve over there. I impact who I'm supposed to impact over there. And then you go and imagine some more stuff up for me. Like, I know my imagination is nothing compared to what you think of my life and my influence and my impact. And so I want you to use it however you want to use it. And so you got to make sure you have to be open enough to receive. And it starts with what you're hearing and who you're hearing it from. When I first started planning this event, you guys, I was in so many programs. I was doing so many things. I was doing all this other stuff. And I literally looked at my husband and he was like, okay, you're going to need to silence all them Facebook groups, all that stuff, the coaching groups and all that stuff you thought you was going to be in. If it's not in complete alignment with the goals that you have for this event, with the thought process that you made, if anything's making you feel any kind of way, you gonna have to just distance yourself from all of that. Stop listening to all of them. And we got really clear about what I was allowing into my hearing, because it is this is how I look at Speak Your Way to Cash Live. People are coming from all over the world, literally. Colombia, we got the UK coming, like all over the world, to allow me to coach them for 3 days on their speaking business. But it starts with a session that I know was God-given called the Dreamer's Den. And during this Dreamer's Den, what we're going to do, what I am called to do, what I'm going to do is facilitate a session where we all dream. And what I've been saying to attendees, and some of them are on here, so whoop, whoop. What I've been saying to you guys is like, I want you to come to this event and I want you to dream and I want you to imagine a life for yourself bigger than you've ever imagined it before. Okay, so what does that look like? What does that mean? Well, that means that my mindset has to remain intact. If I'm going to be the one in front helping people dream big, opening up people's mindset, opening up their ability to think big about their lives, I have to have the ability to think big. I have to be able to say, yeah, bigger, but what else? I think I still see fear in that goal. What would it be if fear was gone? I think I still see doubt in that goal. What would it be if doubt was gone? I think I still see you contemplating what you don't have right now in that goal. What would it be if you weren't doing that? Well, my husband don't support. What would it be if he supported you? What would it be if your kids were doing what they were supposed to do? What would it be if you had all the financial resources that you needed? But guess what? The only way I can do that is if I don't allow what's going on in my life, what I'm hearing, what my friends are hearing, to infect that vision. It's a very pure desire to want to help other people dream. But when you start saying you're going to help other people dream and break, because really that's breaking strongholds. Once you start saying that's what you're going to do you know what immediately starts to happen? Maybe people that you love, start implanting little seeds of doubt and fear in your life, because if they can distort your vision, and you're helping all these other people get more vision, well, then all their vision will be distorted too. And so, no, I had to protect what went in my hearing. And it's not being selfish, it's being selfless. Because what you want to do, what you may want to do is to be up in everybody's program, listening to everybody's podcast, listening to everybody speak, being at everybody's event, kikiing with any and everybody. But through this experience, I've had to be alone a lot more than I personally like to. I'm an extrovert. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I can't risk it. I can't risk it. My vision has to be right because I have something to do November 4th through the 6th. And it's not just for me. Because imagine this impact. Imagine the impact of 90 people, 100 people getting their vision right at an event in 3 days. What's the impact of that? On everybody's family, on everybody's income, on the Black economy? Like, what if everybody who attended Speak Your Way to Cash Live left so empowered that they then went back and stopped talking doubt in their life, stopped talking fear in their life. They started cutting people off when they started sounding like lack. What if they left being abundant? How powerful would that be? What messages would they start putting out to their clients? What is the ripple impact of changing 100 lives? Well, you change 100 people. Let's say each of them impacts 10 people. Well, now we got thousands of lives changed. Because then those 10 people are going to change other people's lives because now they feel more empowered. Our speech, our vision, our ability to dream, our ability to kick doubt's butt, those powers alone give us dominion over every goal. They give us dominion over everything, which is why there are entire economies that are built on keeping people afraid and fearful. Because once you can move past the feeling of fear, you can start achieving more than you ever imagined for yourself. And it's a powerful thing. You cannot risk the vision or the impact. So yeah, you may be excluded. Yeah, you may be alone. And I'll tell you something. I realized this is what I learned about fear that I hadn't really realized before. When you say something that you're going to do, like you set out a goal and you make a declaration about it publicly and it doesn't happen. Most people are not afraid of failure. They're afraid of failing publicly. That's different. If you put out a goal and don't nobody know about it, cool. You go on about your way. You can save face. But here's the thing, guys. Once you get over the fear of failing publicly, there is no door that will be locked to you. And even if it's locked, it doesn't matter because you're going to keep going anyways. Some of you have to figure out not how to get rid of fear, how to move through fear. And practically, I'm going to give you some practical tips. One, everything you listen to has to have a faith perspective. Two, you're going to have to give up that warm blanket called complaining. Now, I love a good complaining blanket. Like, if I'm having a bad day, I love a good, like, a quick little, I can't believe this is happening. Oh my gosh. Like, I love a quick one, okay? But the truth of the matter is, it doesn't serve you. And it doesn't serve those you're called to. So you're going to have to give up that warm blanket called complaining. 3, you are going to have to become a person who's going to get what you need by any legal and ethical means necessary. I got to put disclaimers because I'm a lawyer. So get what you need by any legal or ethical means necessary. There are some of you out there who want to do something. Like, there are people watching this right now who do not have their ticket to Speak Your Way to Cash Live, or they're listening to this and they don't have their ticket to Speak Your Way to Cash Live, but they want to be a highly paid speaker. There's no excuse. You have to get the information that you need. And as soon as you say, now let me give you this mindset hack. As soon as you say, like, well, I can't get it, it's too expensive. This event is $2,500 if you get a VIP ticket. The virtual is $1,200. That cannot be expensive to you if you want to land $50,000+ contracts. I just did a live video with Dorianne St. Fleur. It's on her Instagram page. And she said before working with me, she was getting negative speaking fees. Like she was paying to go speak. She talked about an event she paid to go from Cali to New York. At the end of it, they gave her $50. $50. She was like, from that to making 200,000 US American dollars in a year from speaking and consulting fees alone. She was like, I don't know how I came in contact with you. I don't know how I met you. She told me in one of her, she told me that I think she saw an ad back in the day and she just bought whatever I had. She came to a webinar. She was like, this is good information. And then she took the next step and the next step and the next step. And these are her results. Now, here's what I want to encourage you guys about. If $2,500 is expensive to you, how much confidence do you think you're going to have when you get on the phone with the client and you tell them it's $75,000 to work with you? When $2,500 gives you pause. It's not about the money. The reason most coaches charge isn't even for us. It's literally for the mindset that we want in the room. I've said this before and I'll say it again. There are 3 phases of belief. Phase 1, you ain't getting results in phase 1. Phase 1 is like, I believe somebody somewhere can do it. It ain't really got nothing to do with me, but I believe somebody somewhere, somehow is making money as a speaker. That's phase 1 of belief. That's not where the money resides. That's just where the awareness resides, okay? Phase 2 is like, okay, I believe somebody somewhere is doing it. And now I'm going to invest money and time, likely both, into figuring out whether this opportunity will work for me. The action that you take in phase 2 strengthens your belief. It strengthens your faith in the thing. The way you can see if someone has faith isn't because they say they have faith. It's because they take bold moves and steps in the direction of the thing they're believing for. If you tell me January 1, 2021, you believed all these things, you believed you'd be this, you believed you'd be a transformational speaker, you believed you'd have this, you believed you'd have that. But then I ask you what you did in January towards the goal, what you do in February towards the goal, what you do in March towards the goal. That means you didn't believe it. You said it. You were probably at phase 1. You had an awareness that it could possibly happen for somebody somewhere. But phase 2 is when you invest money and time into getting the education you need to go to phase 3. Now, here's why phase 2 is important. There are a lot of people online who teach their stuff like this. They say things like, I'm going to teach you how to make $1 million in 5 days. I'm going to teach you how to, get your first paid speaking engagement in 1 week. I'm going to teach you how to blah, 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 blah. The reason I don't teach you how to blank in a day or in a week or in a month is because what I teach is transformational for your life, your whole life. And so if you're only seeking a get rich quick scheme, then I don't have anything for you. And I don't want to trick you. I don't want to manipulate you into believing that I'm going to give you some magic bullet that you can just shoot out and get whatever fairy dust results you want. I don't know how to do that. I can't teach you how to sit on Netflix, flip your computer, your screen or whatever, and you just make a whole lot of money. That's not what I teach. So I don't really want to, confuse the issues here. What we teach is how to change your mind, which will change your life. If all you learn from me is how to think differently, it'll change your life in ways that I can't even articulate. If all you learn is how to stop allowing fear and doubt from keeping you in the same position year after year after year, if all you learn is how to be more self-aware, it'll change your life. And there's no amount of money that will help that out. But yeah, you'll make money. You know what I mean? Most people who implement what I say consistently over time make money. Now, it's the consistently over time that really gets people. So phase 2 is like, I'm going to invest a little bit of money and some time into figuring out whether this will work for me. Phase 3 is where the money resides. Phase 3 is, I believe this works for me, evidenced by my actions day to day. If you want to know why you set all these goals in January and now you got 80 plus days left of the year and they have not materialized, you have to check your belief. You have to check what you believe in. And the thing about fear is it can very easily be fueled based upon who you talk to. Based upon who you talk to. If you are not careful and you keep allowing people who don't have vision for their own life to monopolize all of your time and energy, it will hurt your vision for your future. And there are some of you that have stuff to do that requires focus. You can't be in 75,000 different buckets. You can't launch something new every day. You need to focus. And do not, I beg you, this is for the person who's like, but I tried hard and I did this and I did this and I did that. Look, do not give up on your dream, on your business, on your goal because you didn't see results in a short period of time. Do you want a business that's successful for 6 months? Do you want to have a big launch or do you want to have a big life? And you can do both. You can have a big launch and a big life. But for the big life, it's going to have to be, it's not just about that one launch. It's not just about that 1 year. It's not just about that one product. We are building businesses that are literally vehicles for legacy to change lives. Yeah, I teach you how to speak your way to cash, but the truth is, what's the impact of a whole lot of diverse speakers, women speakers, going into these companies and transforming the way they operate? Thousands of people can be changed. What's the impact of you learning how to be an executive consultant and teaching managers how to treat people better in a pandemic when mental health is already a huge issue? Like, and by issue, let me clarify what I mean, where people are struggling mentally to keep up with the demands of the pandemic, because although life is radically different, there are still a lot of companies that are ignoring that very real fact. And so the impact of you learning how to sell to that corporation, sure, that's strategy and that's important. But the real impact is you going into that company and delivering the service and changing the lives of all those employees while changing your own life by being paid well for it. Like, this stuff is so important and it's so deep. And that's why you have to protect who you talk to, what you're hearing, how you move about your day. And for everyone who declared something big and it did not work out, it does not mean it won't. It means it has not happened yet for whatever reason. And one of the reasons might have been your protection. So learn everything you can learn from it. But let me tell you this, do not be afraid to declare your next big goal. I am going to repeat this because I sense that there are some people who are watching this who did not reach a particular goal. And so now they're scared to declare their next big goal, because what if it doesn't work out again? If it doesn't work out again and you can still take a breath, you can still breathe after that, then guess what? There's still time for it to work out. And can I be honest about something else? Because I think that, especially for Christians, we make this a very deep thing, like the Lord is speaking to me. And that means that in the middle of the night, Ashley woke up to a flashing light that came down on our bedside. And the Lord was like, my daughter, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not how it happens. There have been times where I've been like, I believe that God is speaking to me about this. Like, I believe that I have a strong feeling that I should be doing this. But guess what? You may be wrong. like that can happen. I mean, I'll say for me, that can happen for me. I'm not so, I'm not so Christian like that. It's like, no, I can never be wrong. You know what I mean? We are humans. Things do happen. Mistakes are made. Sometimes you move prematurely. Sometimes you declare before it's time, but do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to declare your next big goal. Maybe you're more cautious about who you talk to about it, or maybe not, but don't allow fear to come into your body and sit down. And that happens for a lot of people. And I'll tell you how that shows up for speakers. They pitch. I've sent out 300 pitches. I've sent out 400 pitches and nobody responded. Okay, well, this isn't going to work. I'm going to go to the next thing. No. What was the vision? What was the vision? Was it that you were going to be a highly paid speaker? Okay. How long has it been? Oh, it's been about a year. Okay, well, we could check the strategy, but no, if that's your vision, if that's still your desire, if that's still your vision, then that still has the potential to happen. Don't let people make you feel bad for declaring your next big goal. And I know that no one wants to look like a flake. No one wants to look like a failure. No one wants to look like they're over here today and they're over there tomorrow. And it's so confusing. First off, quiet your mind, because some of you are not confused. People are maybe confused by you, but you're not confused. You're very clear on what you're supposed to do. You have a problem communicating what you're supposed to do with the outside public, but you know what you are supposed to do. You are not confused. Maybe, though, you need to write out your plan for your life, write out your vision for your life, figure out a narrative that'll make sense to your customers and to your audience, etc. There's people who can help you with that. That's a skill and a gift, but it is one that can be developed. But you may not be confused. You know what you're supposed to do. And just because there's some people in your very inner circle that don't get it, it doesn't mean that's not what you're supposed to do. Sorry. It may mean that until the vision materializes, no one will fully understand it. So keep going. If you still have breath in your body, do not be afraid to declare that goal. I promise you, do not be afraid to declare that goal. Do not be afraid to write out that vision. Do not be afraid to continue to work towards something, even if it takes longer than a year. Do not let the internet fool you. I may be successful now, making money as a speaker now, but the truth of the matter is my parents put me in debate camp and speech camp when I was like 14. It may look like this is new, but this has been growing in me and it has been spoken into my life since I was born. Since I was born. Okay. And so for some of you, you may not have had people speaking things into your life. You may not have had people who were pulling you up by your bootstraps, making sure you were okay, giving you a picture of what faith and fortitude and fulfillment looks like. And if that's the case, it is even more integral for you to only put positivity in your hearing, to remove yourself from every conversation where doubt is the theme, to remove yourself from every environment where lack is the theme, to rehearse positivity about yourself every single day, to go from being a creator to a consumer, to go from being a consumer to a creator. Let me explain this. You're going to have to go from being a consumer to a creator in some respects in your life. I'm going to say this because I want you all to get this point. Consumers, when you look at the model of the Lord, right? He created. He created. He shifted mindsets. He created. He led. Sometimes if you are consuming more than you create, maybe a so yeah, because here's what consumers do. Consumers critique. When I buy something, this is what all, and it's not a bad thing. When I buy, like I just bought this Peloton. I don't even know. I can't show y'all this Peloton. I'm gonna show y'all this. Look at this. You see that Peloton? Okay. So I just bought this Peloton. 24 hours later, it broke. So I'm critiquing it. I'm like, this is out of this world. How did this break after 24 hours? Like I paid all this money for this. I can't believe this broke. This is incredible. I'm critiquing it. Why? Because I'm a consumer. I'm not the creator of it. If I was a creator, I would be diagnosing it. Creators diagnose. So I'd be looking at like, okay, well, man, maybe the handles aren't on tight. Okay, we're going to have to change that for the future. We're going to have to make this better. I will be thinking of ways to make it better. If I were the creator of the thing, I would be thinking about how to make it better, thinking about how to improve it, thinking about how to make it more impactful for the people that it's supposed to be for. But because I was the consumer of it, I'm critiquing it. I'm like, I bought this. I paid my money for this. This is not good. I don't like it. The issue is if you consume far more than you create in entrepreneurship, it's going to be hard for you to move forward. Now, creating doesn't mean you have to create new things all the time. It could mean that you need to iterate on what you already have. And that's why wisdom is so important. But do not stop. Do not stop setting goals for your business. Do not stop visualizing big for your business because something didn't happen for you this year. And sometimes we have real legitimate reasons why things aren't happening. If you needed to take some time off for your mental health or your wellness or your physical health, then you had to do that. And there should be no shame attached to that. Okay? So we've talked about a lot of things. I'm going to do a quick Q&A on Clubhouse. So if you all want to hear the Q&A portion of this, just go on Clubhouse. Join me over there in the Speak Your Way to Cash Lounge. But one thing I will say as we wrap up is like fear is sneaky. You do not have to be at a scary movie to have fear inserted into you. You do not have to be in a very dangerous environment. No one has to be breaking into your home for fear to be inserted into you. It is sneaky. It can come in from a spouse. It can come in from a friend. It could come in from a family member. And so it is our job to be aware of how fear tries to come into our being and sit down and kick it out and kick it out and douse, like flush it out with positivity, but keep believing in yourself and in your ability to implement. Keep believing in what you have going on. And if you're a speaker, a thought leader, an expert, or entrepreneur that wants to make landing large corporate clients a part of your revenue stream, come to Speak Your Way to Cash Live, period. There's no reason for you not to be there. So come to that event because it will change your life. It will change the way you think and it will stretch you. And we're like, it's 3 days of content that is purposed and well planned out. Like I don't do the thrown together thing. Like we have been working on this curriculum, planning this stuff out for almost a year. And so I want you all to be there if it is for you to be there, because the other thing I know is that my environment at this event is going to be top tier. It is dreamers only. It is like people that have doubt. I want people at the event holding each other accountable. Like, girl, that sound like doubt. Now we ain't doing that this weekend. We ain't doing that. That's how I want you all coming. Like holding each other accountable. Like, girl, that sound like fear. We ain't doing that this weekend. You got 3 days to commit to changing your life. 3 days. You deserve that. You deserve that. You deserve to be in an environment where everybody has the same goal to grow, where everybody has the same goal to impact, to transform, to change lives. And let me tell you something else. The cost is not expensive at all. So, and here's the thing, to get in the room, you have to pay the cost. And the reason for that is if you can't fathom paying a couple $1,000s, coming to an event where we're talking about charging $10, $20, $30, $100,000, which is the package that one of our clients landed $110,000, it's going to evade you. Because in your mind, $2,500 is expensive. So nobody will pay you $100. You're going to have to pay to get in the room. Nobody is in that room for free. Everybody paid to get in that room because it activated a level of belief that they didn't even know needed to be activated. That's why you pay to get into rooms. And it ensures that our environment is at least somewhat situated with people who have the same belief on some level. And so I want to invite you into that experience. I want to invite you into that environment. This week is the last week you can buy your ticket. There will be no extensions because, again, we are literally we prepare heavy for this event. So we can't do any extensions on tickets or anything like that. But yeah, I hope you all get it. And if you learn nothing else from me, know that even when people are confident, I believe I am a very confident person. Fear can still, I'm telling you, fear is sneaky. It'll sneak in through an offhanded joke. It'll sneak in through an offhanded compliment. It'll sneak in. So you have to be so dogged about what you watch, what you listen to, how you wake up, how you view yourself, what you believe about yourself. You have to. It's not optional. Because you have people to change, you have lives to impact. So I don't care what happened this year. When you're planning for 2022, I want you to write out the biggest, grandest version of 2022. And then you need to invest, because we talk about the 3 phases of belief. So you write it out. That's phase 1. I believe somewhere could do this, whatever. Phase 2, you're going to need to invest time and money into making that thing happen. And phase 3, you're going to have to act consistently to make it happen. And the only way you're consistent is if your feelings don't rule you. That's the only way. I haven't found another way to be consistent anyways. The only way you're consistent is if your feelings don't rule you. There are some tools. You can schedule some stuff out. You could do all types of stuff, technical stuff, but it all starts with not allowing your feelings to dictate every aspect of your life. Can't do that when you got something big to do. All right. So hopefully this was helpful. You can go to speakyourreadycash.com/event. Virtual tickets are $1,200. So you can get your virtual tickets at speakyourreadycash.com/event. I would absolutely love to host you and meet you in November at the event. Talk to you guys later. All right.